Hi, it's Luke from Breakbulk. We're here with Adolph from E2Log. Adolph, great to see you.
Likewise, Luke.
First of all, can you just tell us a bit about what E2Log is and what services you offer?
So E2Log is a logistics orchestration platform, and we have specifically and purposefully built this technology primarily for industrial and project logistics. Given the nuances of the business, given the complexities associated with this logistics, which is very different from the general logistics,
Yeah.
we built a platform specifically for this.
Okay.
And it really enables shippers to manage the end-to-end logistics process, right from the time material is ordered to the planning phases, the expediting, the freight booking, the price discovery, the tracking, tracing up to the time it gets delivered at destination, including the invoices.
Well, as you know, I'm just back from a visit to Larsen and Toubro, probably the biggest EPC in India. And they told me that you've just completed a major project together after initially meeting at Breakbulk. Can you tell us a bit about that and what you did for them?
Absolutely. So, firstly, L&T, as you know very well, is a major industrial conglomerate, a $27 billion company. But they have a very diverse portfolio of businesses, right? So the EPC piece is a big chunk of their business. But besides that, they're into defense, heavy engineering, hydrocarbons, mining, renewables, buildings and infrastructure, power grid and transmission. And their business is very complex because when you think about a conglomerate of that size and executing logistics of that scale across 15 different companies is huge. So they picked us for this particular project to do a complete digital transformation of their logistics across.
Fantastic. So what would you say are the benefits that L&T are going to see as a result of what you're doing with them?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to understand the journey that they've been on. So, L&T have been visionary in terms of trying to get their business to be future ready. And they're on a major digital transformation journey across all spectrums of the business.
Yeah.
And their leadership had the vision to say, we need to do this for logistics also, because it's such an important part of supporting the business overall.
Yeah.
And they're a company which is very mature in terms of their processes. It's a very well-run logistics operation. But they had the vision to try and take this to the next level by bringing in a technology and what they call as an integrated logistics management system to be able to manage the end-to-end process.
Yeah.
And what they have done, and I think it's really a role model for many other shippers, because what they have done is they've taken all the existing systems, they've integrated with E2Log, and they've actually digitalized the end-to-end process. So as transactions are executed in their procurement systems, data flows into E2Log, all their rate contracts are all uploaded in the system.
Yeah.
It's completely interfaced with their logistics providers across the country, across the world, and also integrated with accounts payable systems, approval workflows, everything there.
Yeah.
But I think, what is very important is that they have put their entire leadership team to sponsor and drive this initiative, right from the CEO, CFO level to an executive sponsor and a project director. They made it an enterprise-wide initiative. So when you do it that way, the benefits that come from it are tremendous, right? It is not only about the logistics process specifically. It now starts impacting the broader organization. And you start seeing the benefits in terms of how projects start being delivered on schedule and on budget. You start seeing customers beginning to see the benefit of timely delivery of materials.
Yeah.
Their project teams now have better visibility and control as projects are being executed in different.
I was going to say, it's all about visibility, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But visibility is one piece, but the ability to then intervene, intercept, because you now have control, is a very powerful byproduct of digitalization.
Yeah. And can you tell us a bit about your background and your work experience and how that's helped shape what E2Log offers?
Yeah, so Luke, my career has been broadly split into three parts, I'd say. The first part was on the service provider and the regulator side. So I actually worked for customs, freight forwarders, custom brokers, and an ocean carrier.
Yeah.
And the second half of my career was actually working for shippers. Then I worked for companies which are in the heavy industrial engineering, oil and gas kind of space. And that's when I really started seeing firsthand the opportunity to bring technology into the space and some of the challenges that companies like this faced in the absence of this kind of a technology.
Yeah.
And then the third part of my journey was really to take those lessons, those experiences that I learned working for these companies, traveling to different parts of the world, seeing how logistics is done, seeing what the challenges are, and then actually building a technology like E2Log, which really solves these problems with the end result of trying to deliver the benefits for shippers.
So we can say built by the shipper for the shipper.
Oh, absolutely. So one of the things we say is E2Log is built by logisticians for logisticians.
Right. And we were discussing digitalisation, and you were quite forceful in talking about how shippers really need to embrace it. Why?
So firstly, I think the important thing to realize is that digitalization is not an option anymore. It has to be done. There's no question about it. The important thing to look at is how is technology influencing the world that we live in today. Every facet of what we do is impacted. Today, AI is all over the place, and so many companies are just focusing on how can they maximize the benefit of this technology in a good, constructive way to drive things, right? And I think the EPC business, the project logistics business is no different. It has got so much opportunity to bring in technology. It has so much opportunity to bring in AI. But one of the important things which people are going to have to do is be ready for the mindset change that comes with this. This industry, very candidly, is the laggard when it comes to technology. There's a lot of resistance to change. There is a perception that this industry is different and we don't need this technology, we do this way, and I've been doing this for the last 30 years kind of mindset. So that has to change, but digitalization is not an option. And I think those who embrace it, L&T is a phenomenal example of that, are going to be the ones who are going to have the early advantage of this, but others are going to have to follow.
Is that still the case, or has the industry made some progress?
The industry is definitely thinking about it, but what I will say is that the number of people who have actually done something tangible associated with it is very minimalistic.
Right.
And that's the piece which needs to pick up more momentum. The conversations need to convert into actions. The actions need to convert into actual deployments, and deployments need to convert into actual results. That's the evolution that the industry needs to make. But this is where I would say that the leaders of companies, the CEOs, the CFOs of companies need to make sure that logistics is a function which is supported in this digitalization initiative. Unfortunately, it tends to be lower down in the pecking order in a lot of organizations. But on the flip side, the logistics leaders, the supply chain leaders need to make the case internally. They need to be able to articulate what the impact is, what the benefits are, what the ROI could be, to be able to then drive this digital transformation.
I guess it requires buy-in from the highest level, right? Because you're changing behavior. You don't want people sending emails anymore, for example.
Absolutely, and to be able to successfully deploy technology, the change management in a large organization. Let's take L&T. There are a few 100,000 employees across 14 companies, across 30 countries around the world. To be able to drive a transformation of this type, it can only be done with executive sponsorship at the highest level, right? So we need those leaders to push that and drive that and support that so that it becomes something which, candidly, it's not a democratic process when you're trying to visualize, right? You need to make sure everybody's on board. Everyone needs to feel part of the process. Everyone needs to feel like their problems are being addressed. Everybody needs to feel that they're going to benefit from it. Only then can you make it a success. And that can really come only top down.
So a large part of E2Log is chat-based, right? So that reduces the need for a lot of these unnecessary emails.
Yes, that's one of the capabilities. But at the end of the day, the power comes from actually being pre-wired and integrated with various systems which exist. So the normal challenge that logisticians face, right? You're basically taking data from one place and you're passing it on to the next person. That's what you're doing each step of the process. You're pulling data from different systems, from different constituents, different participants or folks who are executing different stages of the activity. But what a technology like E2Log does is just brings everything together. It's fully integrated. The need for that amount of communication, the need for that kind of exchange of information reduces very dramatically because it's already through the automation and the AI. A lot of this is already happening in the system. And then some of the chat, you still have the human need to chat and communicate and give instructions and things like that. As it needs, it's all done through the system without the need for shooting emails around or text messaging or WhatsApping through these various mediums.
Great. And lastly, what's next for E2Log?
Well, for us, the vision remains to get to autonomous logistics. That's really the goal. AI playing a very heavy part of it to be able to deliver that. But what I will also say is that, in the early conversations that we have with people, there is a perception that, oh, no, this AI cannot come into this space. And, this still needs to be a high-touch business, which I think it will be for a period of time. But it's incumbent on companies like us who are pioneers in technology to actually go out there and build AI in a smart way to drive the level of automation that is required, drive the level of intelligence that is required to be able to run these autonomous processes. But that's our vision, autonomous logistics.
Adolph, thanks very much.
Well, thank you very much, Luke. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.